I recently ran across this question in a Facebook group. The person said, I have created a blank image as a background. I'm placing a whole mess load of new images on top of the blank background. I want all the new images to be the same size. I know that I can resize each block by dragging the corners and watching the width height numbers. However, I don't always get exactly the same size for all of the new images. Is there a way to resize the images by specifying the width and height numbers, like with image resize dialog box, for example? Or will I need to drag each and every placed new image? Thanks for the advice. Since I've seen this asked before, I thought it would be a good topic to cover in a quick tip tutorial. So let's get started. I've already created a new blank document and added 4 photo images that I'll resize. There are a couple of ways that I'd like to show you. They're both quick and easy, but one I recommend over the other. So what we're going to do first is create a shape with a fixed size, and we're going to specify the dimensions. So we'll go to the Shape tool. Down here in the tool options, you can specify, I'm going to change the color of this box so it'll show up a little better. You can specify a fixed size. So let's say we want our size to be 3 inches wide and 4 inches tall. And you can set it to snap from center or just to drag and draw it yourself. So that's what I'm going to do. I'll say snap from center. Going to put it right here at the bottom. And when I click on the layout, it automatically adds this shape. I'm going to go to the Move tool and move this over here. Let me turn these off. Okay. So here I've got the shape that I just created. Now I want to duplicate this, so I'm going to use my keyboard shortcuts, Control J, 3 times. So now I have 3 shapes. I'll drag a shape up below this image. I'll drag a shape up below this image. I'll drag one up below this image. So now I've got a shape under each image. I'm going to attach or clip the images to the shapes. So the first thing I'll do is turn the eyeball back on so that we can see them. And you notice the bounding box for the shape, because I've got it selected in the layer panel, is still showing right here. And you can see that the photos are quite a bit larger than that shape. So what I can do is select each of these images and resize them all at once. You select these by holding the Control key and selecting them. If they were side by side, you could hold the Shift key and just select the bottom one and the top one, and it would select all the images. With all the images selected, you can drag the corners and resize them. And you may not want to make them as small as the shapes, because you can also use the shapes to crop your image. So let's do this. Go to the top shape or the top image, and we're going to use Control-Alt-G to clip it to the shape below it. We'll do this with each of the images. And then, as you can see, let's hide these so we can see the bottom image. You can then, if you want to, because the bounding box for the image is still larger than the shape that you've attached it to. So you can actually move this within the box and put it wherever you'd like. When you're happy with the placement, just check mark to commit. And then you can do that with each of the images that you've got on here. So this one is fine the way it is. This one we need to move this person a little bit. And if you want to not have it quite as blown up, you could also resize this even more and get it down like this if you want. And I think I like these all just the way they are now, so I'm going to link these layers so that when you move one of these images, you'll be able to move them both at the same time without taking it off of the shape that it's attached to. So you just click the two that go together each time. Click the link, unlink layers icon, and then that way when you move them, it takes everything with it. So then you can just move the pictures around the way that you want them. We've got all the shapes back the way they were and all the photos back the way they were. So if you want to use this method, I'm going to hide the shapes and I'm going to show the images only. Using this method, if you select all of the images, and since they're touching sides, you can select the top or the bottom, hold the Shift key, and select all of the images at once. Then make sure the Move tool is selected, use the bounding box, and you can resize these images all at once. They don't have to be attached to a shape. The problem that you might run into with this, there's a couple of problems actually that you could run into. Let's say that they're not all the same size. And I'm going to demonstrate that by resizing a couple of the photos. Okay. Now, if you select all of the photos again and resize them, that's fine, except that they're all still going to be various sizes, which you may not want to have them some larger than the others. And then if you want to crop an image, if you wanted to crop this image, then you have to use the crop tool. Whereas using the shapes, you attach it, you can crop the images easily, you can move them around, and you don't even have to change tools. So my recommendation is to use the shapes, clip the photos to the shapes, and then you can crop them or resize them individually if you want. And there you go. That's the quick tip for how to easily resize multiple images.